Good morning. Good morning. And on behalf of the family, I want to welcome you. We are prayerfully gathered here today in memory of our loved one, June Hopkins. I want to thank you for sharing this time of remembrance as a celebration of her life. And the family has requested that we say together, or if you just want to listen to me say it, the Illuminata. It's on the front page inside your program today. Dear God, show me the light at the center of my sisters and brothers. Show me the light at the center of myself. Where I see guilt, show me innocence. Where I focus on mistakes, show me how to focus on efforts of good. Help me have faith in the goodness of others. Help me have faith in your spirit within me. Thus, may darkness be cast out. May I cleave to the light that is in my heart. This is my prayer. May I see the light in everyone. Thank you for joining me in that prayer. I've had the privilege of knowing June for all the many years that I've been here at Unity since 1988. And it was truly a pleasure to be with her because she was always smiling, always in great spirits. And I loved to see her with the children in youth ed Can you imagine June with 2- and 3-year-olds, those wiggly little bodies, trying to teach them to sit still and meditate? She succeeded. She definitely had a gift. She was one of a kind. And of all the people I've known, I believe she holds the record in hospital visits. Yes, she did have her health challenges. And I have lots of fond memories of encounters with her and birthday parties, always smiling, always very much the positive person. So those are my memories of June. And now I'd like to invite a colleague of hers who taught you with her here at Unity. Allison, would you come and light the candle, please?
Good morning. My name is Allison Cantrell, and I am lighting the candle this morning in memory and celebration and thanksgiving for my dear friend, sister, fellow youth ed teacher, and lover of children, June Hopkins. We met over 20 years ago when she was teaching in YFM, and my children were YFM students. Soon, I joined the team and got to know June and Mary Griggs and others. We planned our lessons together every Thursday. We treasured that time together, along with Gina, who was always there to lend a helping hand. June always had creative and engaging ideas. I will never forget her Christ-light meditation, just as Inga made reference to with the small children, or the fun we had planning lessons, which taught the 12 powers through the Wizard of Oz. Planning holiday festivities for the children of Unity was such a joy. June took the very sour lemons she was given early in her life and made gallons and gallons of sweet lemonade, which she shared with anyone she encountered, from children to store clerks to family and friends, to all her communities, including Unity of the Valley. She touched so many people far and wide. Countless people sought her out for prayer, support, a shoulder to cry on, or a joyful person to celebrate with. I count myself forever blessed to be one of those people. As we shared a love of children, I always enjoyed her teacher stories. My favorite was about a lunch group she had for kids at her school who were going through difficult times. June gave them a safe space to talk about their challenges, receive help, support, and love, and get reassurance. One of my favorite stories from later in her life was a time she had fallen in the middle of the night. She called 911 for the paramedics to help her up. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt badly. One of the paramedics who helped her said, "I know you. You were my 3rd grade teacher, and you were the best." He went on to talk about the fun he had in her class and all that he had learned from her. Anyone who knew June was touched by her deep love and abundant joy. I am wearing red today, June's signature color, in honor of those qualities. May we take the joy and love that June gave each of us and pass it along. Thank you, Junie. I love you. Now we have to...
Wasn't that the prettiest this little light of mine you've ever heard? That was definitely one of her favorite songs.
I see trees green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
As always, a wonderful world. A wonderful world because June was a part of it. And a wonderful world because we were a part of her life. We shared. Before I do a meditation or lead you in meditation, I'd like to share a little poem I found just last night that I think speaks well of her. How like an angel came she down, more beautiful than the girls in the magazines. She was beautiful for the way she thought. She was beautiful for the sparkle in her eyes when she talked about something she loved. She was beautiful for her ability to make other people smile, even if she was sad. She wasn't beautiful for something as temporary as her looks, as beautiful as they were. She was beautiful deep down in her soul. And that's what made her the angel that came down to be with us. So let us now close our eyes and join our hearts and our memories and our very love together in a time of quiet meditation. Sweet Spirit, We give thanks on this day for the angel that you sent to be with us, and for the angel that you have received now into your domain, your place, your world. As we remember her, let us remember with unwavering faith that all things can wait for a few moments while we spend time in communion with the Spirit within each of us and the Spirit in this space together collectively. Breathing deeply, we let the stillness of this moment fill our minds, and we open our hearts to peace. Relax into the place of serenity and release all concerns in this precious moment of oneness with God. Let us visualize ourselves filled with the healing power of the Blessed One, and invite feelings of support and upliftment in all our being. Let us hold this sacred time of communion with June and God and each other. And as we hold thoughts of peace, ongoing, radiant life, let us send vibrations of radiating love from soul to soul in each heart, in this room, and in our lives. Let us enter into a new sense of peace so that we can return to the days ahead with a renewed sense of knowing what is ours to do. And let us commit to moving forward with confidence. And let's take a moment now to just be together in a bit of silence, a bit of quiet, and go into the depths of our hearts and feel our love for our dear June. Feel our love for each other, and feel our gratitude for the life that we have been given to live in the quietness with the Holy Spirit. Thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you for this sweet moment of togetherness, of one-heartedness, of one breath. May we move forward now, filled with love, with peace. And when tears of remembrance come, know that those are the tears of the angels, helping us to heal. Because we know the truth that will set us free, that we are all expressions of divinity, expressions of love, and people of the world of peace. This is our mission: love and peace. And so it is. Amen and amen.
I've been trained to follow those instructions.
love. A love that glows warmly upon us in hues of red and gold, like a Hawaiian sunrise, bathing us completely without any hesitation or holding back. As I contemplated the special feeling I always got in this amazing woman's presence, a Hawaiian, how do we say that? A Hawaiian sunrise is what came to me. Along with her smile, that gorgeous, brilliant smile, and the hats. I mean big, big hats. So, love, smile, hats. Okay, I think I covered the basics. If you learn nothing else from me, at least you will remember, well, can you repeat those 3 words with me? As love, smile, and hats. Yes, very good. I sense June is giving you all A+ right now. Okay, pop quiz. The question is, how? How did they know when they named her June that she would so perfectly embody that first month of summer, that happiest of all months for students and teachers alike? When the school books can finally be tossed aside and the world becomes our playground. Oh, June, you sweet, sweet soul. June Ann Hopkins was born, can you guess which month? Yes, on June 7th, 1944, in Seattle, Washington. I wish I could say our baby June found herself in a happy, healthy household. Who can say why it is that these beautiful children of God are so often born into the bleakest conditions? So I'm reminded of a song. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. It's called Seeds. And it goes a little bit like this. We're all just seeds in God's hands. We start the same, but where we land is sometimes fertile soil and sometimes sand. We're all just seeds in God's hands. We're all just seeds in God's hands. Well, June's mother, Margaret, was one of those seeds struggling to grow in sand. And I don't know if she ever quite got free. June wrote a very detailed essay about how her mother, Margaret, escaped an abusive marriage with little June and her 2 siblings, how Margaret got remarried and her second husband's abuse escalated into threats to kill his 3 stepchildren if she didn't get rid of them. It's just like a man to think it's that easy. Just get rid of them. And of course, they were all terrified. Margaret had to contact the local Elks Club families for help. The Elks had aided the family before when they needed food and clothing during desperate times. To keep her children safe, it seemed the only solution was to have each child adopted by a separate family. And so one day, 5-year-old June found herself being hauled away in the back of a pickup to her new home. Although separated from her mother and siblings, that little seed had at last found its way to fertile soil with a loving couple named Dorothy and Paul Hopkins. What happened to June's birth mother, Margaret? She would eventually have to give up 3 more children for adoption. And some 30 years would pass before Margaret finally revealed the secret of all these adoptions, so all her children could reunite or meet for the first time. Now, regarding that detailed essay I told you that June wrote about all this, I had a choice. Either read the whole thing to you or sell it to Netflix as a miniseries for $1.2 million. Well, it was a tough decision. Anyway, moving on. In the Hopkins family, June was raised in Southern Oregon in the little town of Central Point, graduating from Crater High School in 1962. And it occurs to me that we would have graduated together if she had just gone to high school 6 miles away at Medford Senior High School, and if she had graduated just 20 years later in 1982. That would have put it all together. Now, in 1967, 23-year-old June got her education degree from Southern Oregon College of Education. She took her first elementary school teaching job in a small city I had never heard of, Downey, California. But it's 13 miles from a city I have heard of named Los Angeles. But Downey has its own claims to fame. It's the birthplace of the Apollo space program, and more importantly, the birthplace of Taco Bell. And even more importantly, it has the world's oldest operating McDonald's. Yes, I know. Let's just take a moment to breathe that in. It was in Downey in 1971 that June married James Sutherland. After enjoying one final hometown meal, either at Taco Bell or McDonald's, June and James headed east, way east, all the way to Saratoga Springs, New York, where the town motto actually is health, history, and horses. There in Saratoga Springs, June taught 5th grade for the next 14 years. And during that time, she took a sabbatical to attend the University of Oregon and earn a Master of Arts in Exceptional Children. And in 1976, she gave birth to her own exceptional child, her beloved Jerem. Among her fellow teachers in Saratoga Springs, June made a dear and lasting friend named Nancy Jane, but who most people knew as NJ. I picture NJ as sort of a gruff, no-nonsense gym teacher with a heart of gold. Earlier this week, I got NJ's number from Jerem. When NJ answered the phone, I just couldn't resist acting like an old friend and saying, "Well, hello, Nancy Jane." To which I got a response, "Well, who the hell is this?" But in a friendly tone. NJ opened up right away and told me about being a teacher with June, how all the kids wanted to be in June's 5th grade class, how everybody loved June. There was never a bad word about June. People noticed June right away. She didn't stay in the shadows. She had charisma, and you couldn't take a bad picture of June. NJ said the thing about June was that she actually cared for people, and people knew it. She wasn't putting on a show, even if she loved wearing the brightest, most obnoxious clothes possible, as NJ put it. And another thing about June, she was funny. NJ said June was always cracking her up with her plays on words. So I asked NJ for an example of June's wordplay. And NJ said, "Can't think of a single damn one." NJ asked me how I liked living in Oregon. I said I wasn't familiar with a state called Oregon. I could tell June and NJ had a truly wonderful friendship. I think you could describe them as soul sisters. NJ loved having little Jerem in her life as well. In fact, Jerem is her godson. Not sure if that makes NJ his fairy godmother or not. But NJ was very proud to see Jerem grow up to be someone who is nice to everybody, has a great sense of humor, is an all-around nice person, and you can't take a bad picture of him. It sounds a little bit like someone we know, right? Well, June's marriage to James reached the point where the two could no longer grow as one, and they divorced in 1983. 2 years later, the still unfolding flower of June transplanted herself from New York all the way to the opposite coast here in Eugene, Oregon. 4J Schools was the lucky district to grab up this star teacher for their talented and gifted program at Willa Gillespie School, and she eventually settled in with the third graders for the remainder of her 18 years in 4J. June, you just know, deeply understood how the seeds of potential in children often need the light of loving encouragement to set them free. And she knew the power of having fun. I understand she took students for rides in her beloved red Mustang convertible, giving them lessons in what she called Mustang math. I'm not sure she could get away with that, doing that today, but as far as I know, she was never busted. So anyway, I think moving out west gave June a chance to, I've heard it was a chance for her to reconnect with some family members from her past. But I gather that she was also on a quest to fill something missing inside her. Even though it meant leaving her son Jerem with her ex and having to settle for seeing Jerem mainly on holidays, and of course spoiling him as much as she could during those all too brief visits, I think she filled a part of what was missing. I know she did, by joining AA. And she found a part of her wholeness in spirituality, particularly in the teachings of A Course in Miracles and in the spiritual community here at Unity of the Valley. And without a doubt, June found a huge part of the answer she was seeking by meeting Don Campbell. Now, how many of you can still remember those 3 words I used to describe June at the beginning? I'll give you a clue. The first word starting with L is love. The second word starting with S. And the third word beginning with H. Yes. So now imagine June's big love, her big smile, and her big hats blending with 3 new dimensions of her life: AA, spirituality, and Dawn. I won't make you repeat those. But so AA, you know, it not only helped June face the wounds she carried from childhood in a healthier way, but it allowed her love to bloom in even more beautiful ways. Over a period of 38 years, she would serve as the loving AA sponsor for some 30 to 40 women, helping them pick themselves up from the sands of despair to find ground where they could begin to grow once more. AA is closely related with Unity of the Valley, not only in spiritual outlook, but because an AA group has been meeting 6 days a week here for many years. And so June became a member of this church in 1987. And more importantly, she discovered the lesson found in all great religions, that each of us are divine beings, that we are here to unfold our divine capacity for love and service. Yes, even a little girl threatened by her own stepfather, torn from her family and forced to grow all new roots with adoptive parents at the tender age of 5. Yes, even her. And because this divine capacity had always been within her, I think that's why she always tried to live that way. And while June officially retired from teaching in 2003, she went on to shine her light for many more children by teaching Sunday school here at Unity for another decade, which I think was really just about as long as her spirit could push her body to do that job. So now we have connected the dimension of AA with the dimension of spirituality, and now we need to connect those with the dimension known as dawn. Where is the dimension of dawn, by the way, anyway? Oh, right there. Oh, there it is. So it was in AA where June first noticed this handsome, athletic-looking gentleman with a charmingly serene and friendly manner and a deep and sexy voice. This was in early 1990s. Well, Dawn was in the midst of a divorce. And under the rules of AA, that meant no hanky-panky until the divorce was final. At long last, in 1995, Dawn and June were able to really begin dating, and about 2 minutes later, they were married. Married right here in this sanctuary, right? How many of you were here for that? Long time no see. It's great. Dawn reminded me it was their wedding. It was at that wedding that a pair of church singers named John and Donna sang a slightly twisted version of the Beatles song, When I'm 64. And I just happen to have that twisted verse right here. Something like this. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? We can rent a cabin up in Brighton Bush if it's not too full. We can soak in hot tubs, getting wrinkles on toes and knees, then exchange back rubs. Now, during that wedding, Dawn remembers a particularly scary moment when the minister, Reverend Nola Woodbury, asked for the ring. A whole lineup of people, including June's son Don and Don's son, all raised their empty hands in the air as if to say, not me, I don't have it. But it was a setup. Man, kids can be nasty, can't they? From June's standpoint, perhaps the scariest thing about the wedding was that it turned out her husband-to-be was a total sports nut. The only sport June knew about was trying to balance the biggest hat possible on her head. But it wasn't long before she saw an opportunity. Now she could wear the most outrageous blends of yellow and green, along with large stuffed aquatic birds on her head. And everyone would consider it completely normal. And before you know it, June was a happy season ticket holder right alongside her sports nut husband. Dawn and June's lives together was a celebration of joy and love, even through the challenges. And one of the greatest blessings was the year that Jerem came and lived with them while he attended Sheldon High School. Some of the fondest memories that Dawn shared with me were family reunions filled with love and laughter. And I imagine a lot of yellow and green competing with other colors. There were 5 or 6 years where June and Dawn vacationed on the Hawaiian island of Kauai from, I think it was early January until Valentine's Day, right? Lots of friends coming by to share in the fun, with many of those friendships lasting through the decades. During those heavenly days on Kauai, Dawn and June would go to an AA meeting at daybreak and watch the sun come right up out of the ocean. You know, it's moments like that if you can be still and pay attention to the swelling of joy and beauty in your heart, that you can know, as June came to know, that the love and light of God shines within you. Or whatever you want to call it. It's a power, it's a force, and it's alive, and it's you. And you will know, as June knew, that we are all waves on this ocean of spirit. And on occasion, you might see one of those waves of God wearing a string of pearls and zooming around in a red Mustang convertible. So now we have just about come full circle. We started with June's love, her smiles, and her. And we carried these over into June's connection with AA, with spirituality, and the love of Dawn. And I have to believe it was that special combination that helped her deal with the physical pain that she dealt with such grace, didn't she? Such grace. But perhaps most of all, what carried her through was love. Because love contains it all. Love is spirit. And so much of that love is represented by her family members and friends who have gathered here today, some of you traveling a considerable distance. And I know even in the hardest days, as her body was straining to hold on to this world, June felt your embrace. From the person who was her 24-hour caretaker in hospice, to all the nursing home staff, to all the friends and family who reached out in ways large and small, I know June felt your loving presence like an ocean in her heart. And you heard that story from Allison about the ambulance ride and where the man recognized her. I got the story a little different, a little extra detail. He didn't just say, you taught me. He said, I took Mustang math from you. Donna and I visited June several times at the nursing home, but what really made her eyes sparkle was our fuzzy little Lhasa Apso named Bosco, who nestled next to her on her hospital bed. And with every bit of feeble strength she had, she was petting Bosco every second he was there, giving her love. On November 18th, after 80 years in a body she had used well past its expiration date, June's spirit was finally ready to soar free. Dawn was there by divine grace, along with a group of singers from Unity the Valley led by our wonderful music director, Laura Dubois. After they had sung the Lord's Prayer for June, one of the singers, M. Jensen, noticed June had taken her last breath. In the Eastern philosophical system known as yoga, it is understood that the soul departs the body by flowing up through the spine and out at this point between the eyebrows known as the spiritual eye. This makes sense to me as the reason why the eyes so often roll upward at the moment of transition. And it makes sense to me that the soul force rushing through the nervous system stimulates memories and emotions recorded throughout our lifetime, which is why we see our life flash by like a roll of film pulled rapidly through a projector. I imagine June must have seen and felt her deep love for you all in that moment, and that she carries with her that love and all the important lessons of this lifetime as she continues on her spiritual journey. June leaves behind her husband, Don Campbell, her son, Jerem Sutherland, daughter-in-law, Nicole, grandson, Ty, stepson Cam Campbell, daughter-in-law Jen, and grandson Brennan. June also is survived by her brother George, who is the husband to Michelle, and June's sister Dee Lily Barnett, wife to Rich. And she leaves behind many beloved in-laws, nieces, and nephews. June was preceded in death by 3 brothers, Rick, Chuck, and Robert. Now, I say leaves behind only because that is how it appears to our physical eyes on this plane of physicality. Just as it appears that the sun leaves us behind when it slips over the curve of the earth at day's end. But we are wise enough to know that is only an appearance. We know the sun is still radiating its energy in all directions throughout the entire 93 billion light years of the known universe and beyond, with no end in sight. And if saints and mystics throughout time in many cultures were right that at the soul level we are one with the infinite Spirit of God, then that means our beloved June is just as present as the sun is at night, and even more so, because in this ocean of God, we are always connected. But you know, this is a subtle truth, one we need to be constantly seeking. One such truth seeker was Henry David Thoreau, considered a founding father of both the environmental and civil rights movements. Thoreau wrote this, which I think June would appreciate. So we saunter toward the Holy Land, till one day the sun shall shine more brightly than ever he has done, shall perchance shine into our minds and hearts and light up our whole lives with a great awakening light, as warm and serene and golden as on a bankside in autumn. So June, whether you are still sauntering into that great awakening light or zooming around in it like a joyful June bug of joy, and I really suspect the latter, I know that everyone here sends you our undying gratitude for the gift of your wondrous, sparkling presence in our lives. And so we say together, with all our hearts, minds, and souls, we love you. Together, we love you. We bless you. We see your divine light ever shining. Yes, we do, along with your love, your smile, and your big hats. Amen.
In honor of June's love for AA and her respect for it, would you join me in the Serenity Prayer? It's printed on the inside of your bulletin. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking, as he did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever. Amen. Thank you.
There is a place where you can always go. Come with me. And it's all right to let your feelings show. Come with me. What a pleasant journey, isn't very far. We can go together, stay right where you are. Now it's time to start. It's right here in your heart. There is a place where you can be yourself. Come with me. And it's a place where you can free yourself. Come with me. And you know it's waiting, not so far away. Need no reservation, we could go today. Now it's time to start. It's right here in your heart. And the light shines through each window, and the door is open wide, and each question has an answer if you'll only look inside. There is a place where every sorrow ends. Come with me. Where every hope and every truth begins. Come with me. What a pleasant journey, isn't very far. We can go together, stay right where you are. For now it's time to start. It's right here in your heart. And now it's time to start. It's right here in your heart. Just go there right now to your heart and breathe the doors wide open. Walk right in. Walk right in. You're home. You're home. And now it's time to start. It's right here in your heart.
We would like to invite a few people. I imagine there are many people here with things to say. For the interest of time, we're going to ask you to keep your remarks a little bit on the brief side, but we would love to hear from you if you'd like to share a memory of June. Anybody? Yes, sir. Okay, I'll be back.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Miller. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic addict. This was a wonderful service, and I so much appreciate John's eulogy and all the dozens of services I've been to over the last 44 years in particular. It was the most gripping eulogy. So wonderful. And I want to honor John for being a tremendous supporter of AA in his church here over time, and appreciate that so much. In terms of June, I'll keep it really brief. I met June roughly 40 years ago plus, over at St. Thomas, and it was kind of an anomaly to see this beautiful woman drive in that red Mustang and sit in an AA meeting. I'm like, that's not my concept of what an alcoholic is. And so being a guy who was had incredible poor self-esteem most of my life, when early on June would smile at me and talk to me, I thought, God, maybe I am okay after all. And since then, I've learned to have the God within inside me and my own trust for myself and know that I'm a good guy and all of that. But June was a sparkler. She was a shooting star. She was an equal opportunity and pure love to everybody. I'd watch her. I'm a watcher since I was 4 years old. I watched people, and I watched June. And June gave me hope. And down the home stretch at Carpe Diem, she would show up and smile, and I'm going, how does she do that? And I realized it must just be God-driven. June, God bless you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm June's brother, George. Oh, hi, Mike.
No, it's on, but you just have to go like this.
Oh,
There you go.
I want to lick it. I just want to say that June would have loved this celebration. She always loved a party, especially one in her honor. And I'm sure that she would have had her crown on, been doing a little dancing. And I want to thank you all for the love and care that you gave my sister. Thank you.
Who else had a hand up?
Thank you so much. Can you hear this? Yes. All right. That was my bro, George. Junie and George and I were the three musketeers in my mind for so long. We grew up together. Those pictures you saw that we were in the shower, the creek behind the house. And I didn't know people had indoor bathrooms. What? What the? Okay, so what is that? But as little kids, we really don't know we're deprived, do we? We felt our love for each other was the bond. And when we were scared, beer bottles were being thrown around. We clung to each other. And I never forgot that. And then through the universe, and there were other plans for us, my adopted dad, wanted all three of us. That was not to happen with the welfare system. You had to make so much money. That was the key thing. So we were all separated. And after a while, people moved away and different things happened. So we lost track of each other. One amazing thing I have to share is because my dad and June's dad, Paul, were a member of the Masonic situation, as I call it. So that meant that Junie in her world and Lily in her world were pushed into Job's daughters. But I loved it because I loved the story of Job, was always going to church and absolutely loved Bible school. So through the Baptist Church and the Oaths Club, an unlikely pairing that we were taking care of, I call it the first nonprofit in small towns. And that's where we got, and I'll never forget Dolly Parton's song of Hard Rock Candy Christmas, because that's what we got with those little mesh stockings, of which Junie and George and I sat down, ate every single piece of it, the candy. And of course, running to the outhouse because that was probably not a good thing for somebody that didn't have much. So we have those fond memories. We're separated by time, we come back together. And as adults, I found out I had a little brother, Rob, which was a shock. My sister of the heart, Marilyn, here today, and your family have been amazing. It was such a world that opened up. When I met June, there were so many deep secrets that I held in my mind and my heart that were cleared up. Some terrible things, sorry, but then I grew to heal because we shared those things and why I was afraid to smell and eat cheese and all kinds of deep-seated things that I then got to heal. Won't share those with you right now, but they were not pretty. This very fact that we got back together and instantly had simpatico, all right? We started laughing and talking and sharing stories, and it was just amazing. And I saw her and me and her, and I hold that dearly to this day. We would have long conversations on the phone. I was in Texas, so it was very difficult to, I guess the planes didn't fly from Oregon to Texas. But the phone sure did. No, we did have phone service, even in Austin and Fredericksburg. So anyway, one thing we discovered, Rob, and June and I, we started talking, what's your favorite color? Did you ever do this? What were you like in high school? The similarities were just absolutely astounding. Chucky and I talking, sorry, I'm not animated or anything, am I? I wonder where I got that. Anyway, so we started talking. One of the things that we settled on was, who's your favorite artist? Who's your favorite poet? Robbie, one of his favorite poets, and When Giant Trees Fall. Thank you for that being read at my husband's celebration. I'll never forget it. And I said, me too. And Junie said, me three. I'm like, are you serious? So we talked Maya Angelou. Maya's, one of her best quotes, as you probably all know, is, you may forget a date, or what that was, it at a birthday party, or where was that picture taken, but you're not gonna forget how somebody made you feel. Good, bad, or indifferent, am I right? So I have 3 words, John, and by the way, that was the most beautiful eulogy. Absolutely astounding, I loved it. So my 3 words start with an F. Before you get all excited about that. Please, no. The first one is family, when I think of Jeannie. The second one is friendship, and we haven't touched a lot on that, Shelley, and all the rest of the friends, all the people I've met, not only during the hospital, but over the years when we stopped and visited with her, that sustained her, absolutely, the friendship base. And I'm a member, I have been, of Austin Unity family as well. Unbeknownst to any of this going on, that was just rich in my travels and saying that was a comfortable place. So what do you think the third F is? Fun. She was fun, was she not? So that smile and that radiance, and it just, and I know I'm taking a long time, but I don't care. No. So I'm going to read from Maya, and I'm also going to read from F. Scott Fitzgerald, because that's just the way I am. We're going to have a good balance. Does that make sense? Okay? So let me hold that one. And I think somebody already touched on part of this. Beauty. She was beautiful. For the way she thought, she was beautiful. For the sparkle in her eyes, when she talked about something she loved, she was beautiful. For her ability to make other people smile, even if she was sad. No, she wasn't beautiful, something as temporary as her looks, although she was gorgeous. I think she was gorgeous. She was beautiful deep down in her soul. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Probably the most beautiful thing he's written, right? So Maya, please forgive me for paraphrasing your amazing work, but I'm going to. So we are quoting, excuse me, Pretty Women. Don't we wonder sometimes where the secret lies? She was cute, but she wasn't built like a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies about her. I say, it was the reach of her arms. It was the span of her hips. It was the stride of her steps. It was the curl of her lips. She was a woman, phenomenal woman. That was her. She walked into a room just as cool as could be, and every person, the eyes would follow and the smiles would come to their lips. When they swarmed around her like a hive of honeybees, I'd say June bugs, but whatever. I'd say it's the fire in her eyes, it's the flash of those teeth, it's the swing of her waist, it's the joy in her feet. Phenomenally, she was a woman. Men themselves have wondered, and other women, what they see in her. They try so much, but they can't touch that inner mystery. When I try to show them, or she tries to show them, they say, I still can't see it. I just know it's there. It was the arch of her back, the sun of that smile, the grace of her style. She was a woman, phenomenal woman. That's her. Thank you.
Thank you. So maybe one more, and then we are going to have a beautiful reception, and there can be many more stories at the reception, but we'll have one more now.
Hey, I've been a member for a while too, and I remember who come in every single Sunday, bright and happy, smiling, and honking with the on the horn on her little walker scooter thing, with a big hat on and a smile every single day, and missed it very much.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things for me. I first met June at Willa Gillespie Elementary when I was in education and taught in School District 4J for like 30 years. But I didn't get to know her until the last few years of my teaching, and we bonded like this. It was amazing. We really did. I loved the way that she worked with children, and it shows up in all the rest of her life. She was definitely cut out or made for or sent here to be a teacher, whether it had been with children or with adults or wherever, just her presence. We also shared something else in common, which I have tucked in a box, and I have a big red hat, but I never wore it here because she wore it much better than I did. her big red hat, I'll just never forget that. And one other thing that I was realizing is that in the phrase, how like an angel came she down, is the day before she was born was D-Day in the world history. You know, a really sad and unfortunate day. And I believe that, I always say this, maybe it's wrong, I don't know, but I think God just waited one more day to have her enter the next day, so that after all those tragedies and all those things that were happening, that he could send that angel down to begin to bring love in a different way, in a special way, into the world. She was just an amazing friend. Then after finishing ministerial school, I became youth education director here, and she and I worked together, and Allison and Betsy and just a lot of other people. In her presence, I never really expected or understood or even thought that she had anything but this wonderful life, because that's what she presented. She presented wholeness and peace and caring and joy. Oh my, so much joy. Anyway, a little poem that I want to share with you as part of the closing. It's called Heavenly Soul, and I'm sure many of you have heard this before. It's difficult when you miss someone and they aren't there. But one thing to remember is this: if you miss them, it means you were lucky. It means you had someone truly special in your life, someone worth missing. And that's something to be grateful for. We don't like losing people. But from this point on, we can carry forth, each and every one of us in this room can carry forth the legacy of June. Can carry forth her beauty, her shining heart and loving heart, her ability to overcome adversity, her ability to walk through whatever life brought her with a smile, and to give of her best from the depth within her, and to be there then for each other. Remember, you're here for your life, to live your life, but it is lived best when you share it with those that you love. Dawn and Jerem, you're the only people I know connected to June, but you were blessed, and you know that. You know that. And we have been blessed. So just a little closing prayer then together to bring this into full bloom in honor of June. And I'm going to read something else as part of the prayer. The beauty of a memory is that it's always there. Like a penny in your pocket, you can take it anywhere. And when your heart is heavy and your eyes are filled with tears, you can focus on the memory and travel through the years. Your heart can visit happy times when laughter filled the air, and the presence of your loved ones will lessen that despair. So as you travel on in life, take comfort as you go in the lifetime of sweet memories of June, who loved you so. A moment of prayer, a bit of silence. Thank you, June. Thank you, sweet Holy Spirit, for your presence in our lives. From this moment on, we dedicate all that we are and all that we have and all that we can be to the will, the work, the way, the service, the joy, and love in the world. We do it in honor of you, sweet Spirit, and we do it in honor of our friend, June. Sweet June, you're in our prayers. We are with you now and always, just as you are with us. God bless us all. And so it is. Amen. And now, I believe, it's time to, what's next, Laura?
We are going to close our service with one of June's favorite songs, the Lord's Prayer. And it would just mean a lot if you would share your voices with us so that we can all send her off with this song. We're going to have the words up on the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I need everybody's help on this song. I started here as the pianist in 1991 when I was 27, and I couldn't read music, and they said, you have to play this song every Sunday, and I never quite figured it out. And a commission of elderly ladies approached me at one point and explained that I was doing it wrong, and I never quite got it right. So anyway, please help me out, but Laura is going to help me as well. So thank you.
Please rise.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Now let's go eat.